Teaching in the United States means that traditions, customs, and celebrations are all influenced by the typical U.S. experience. All schools in the U.S. follow generally the same calendar, with slight variation based on the region. Generally, the same holidays are observed, again, with some variation based on the region. Students in the U.S. mainly learn the same things at the same grade levels based. There is some regional variation. The cultural differences in the southwestern U.S. have little to no experience or interest in skiing, while students in the northeastern U.S. are less likely to study which animals are venomous when they go for a hike. Cultural competence is the awareness of varying cultures among the students. The teacher should show respect and regard for cultural differences and encourage all students to do so as well. When English learner students are part of the classroom community, this teacher needs to facilitate an environment of acceptance and tolerance. The teacher should model patience toward any misunderstandings the EL student has, as well as respect for any cultural differences the student displays. Building upon the previous question, when an English learning student appears uncomfortable with something that has come up in class, the teacher should empathize and see what causes the discomfort. Different cultures can value vastly different things. For example, eye contact is viewed as a sign of respect in American culture, but others view it as disrespect. Getting to the bottom of the discomfort is the first step to alleviating it. Culture influences what students find to be important, or for that matter, cool. A good example would be keeping popular books on hand to encourage reading. As trends shift, the books would need to be switched out to keep up. The school and classroom environment influence language acquisition with continual language use and environmental print. Depending on the grade level of the student, the teacher could go as far as to narrate actions and to use corrective language. If a student were to say, "I go bathroom now," the teacher would reply, "May I go to the bathroom now?" to prompt the student to use correct grammar. Environmental print can be as simple as labeling furniture in the classroom as chair or desk and where items belong. Hearing correct English grammar is helpful to both English learner students and native English speakers to give them that extra nudge toward reading and using proper grammar. Cultural diversity can be supported and celebrated by including discussions of the different celebrations and cultural differences within the classroom. An easy example is different holidays. The teacher can speak with the families about how to best include the holiday that is different to the classroom, and the teacher can learn straight from the families about their home language and other cultural assets. The teacher could invite the family of the English learning student to the classroom to share aspects of their culture with the class. For example, when I was in second grade, I had a friend who was Jewish in my class. When it got to be December, her father came to the classroom to explain the traditions of Hanukkah to the class, and very patiently answered questions about the differences between Jewish and Christian traditions. He also brought in things like a menorah, dreidel, yarmulke, and talit to share with the students who had no experience with any Jewish traditions. The best support for English learner students is pre-planning. New students should be assessed upon arrival into the classroom to determine what their strengths and needs are. A proper assessment can determine what subjects they excel at and which they may need more support in, not to mention the level of support they need in English. Ongoing instruction needs to be based on existing knowledge and building upon that. Cultural sensitivity dictates that all instruction needs to be presented in a way that would not offend or insult the culture of the English learner student. A short interview with the family of the EL student would help to determine if anything within the standard curriculum would be deemed offensive to their culture. The first step to supporting the social and emotional needs of all students is ensuring that the teacher and staff are educated and continually seeking education on understanding the social and emotional needs of students. Cultural responsive teaching calls for teachers to take into account the different cultures within the classroom and to show respect toward their traditions and values. Keeping these values in mind can help with social and emotional development by providing a safe foundation to build relationships upon. Classroom activities that require group work can also support social emotional growth. The teacher can put a thoughtful effort into pairing up EL students with students who have similar interests or pastimes to help initiate conversations that can potentially evolve into a friendship. While social-emotional development often does not get as much recognition as other seemingly more academic domains, it is arguably one of the most important things to consider for a classroom success. Understanding the social, emotional, and cultural needs of students is vital to establishing the classroom routines and procedures. If a student comes from a culture that views standing too close to somebody as disrespectful, standing in line or grouping up on a rug for circle time could be viewed as completely disregarding their culture. Additionally, forcing group work upon a group that has not yet developed the capacity to work as a group without direct supervision can completely derail a lesson or even the day if the situation gets chaotic enough. The beginning of the school year should have some time devoted to establishing social norms for the classroom and for outlining the culture of the classroom. Designated spaces should be made available for students to go if they feel overwhelmed emotionally, and any stigma should be removed from students seeking that comfort. Self-regulation is an important skill for students to master that is difficult to quantify for assessment, but vital for success. If a student gets to high school or college without the skills to de-escalate their own anger, they can face disciplinary actions that will negatively affect them in the long run. The family is the student's first teacher. Any language spoken at home is generally the most comfortable for them to speak. Aside from language, the home also influences values and morals. Understanding that adjusting what language a student hears in school and that exposure to a new culture can absolutely cause a shock is important for both the teacher and the family to understand. The first thing that should happen if a student is new to a school is a meeting with the teacher and the administration if possible. This way, not only can the family describe to the teacher any traditions or customs that the family observes that may be different from what the school community is used to, but the teacher can also get a baseline of what the student knows and introduce them to the expectations of the school. Of course, this isn't always a possibility, so a questionnaire can be used as a compromise. Inviting the family to come into the classroom to discuss where the family came from and traditions they have can help to bridge the gap between the class and the new student. Depending on what language is spoken at home, the teacher may be able to find some bilingual resources to support the student's education and bridge the communication gap between the school and the family. To help a student from a new culture feel more included, the teacher can choose to add art from their culture to add to the decoration, or discuss any different holidays or celebrations that they might have. The main task of the teacher, the class, and the school is to welcome the new student and their family and to not have them feel ostracized. By providing a welcome and understanding community, the student and their family can feel much more welcome in their new school community.